Hi everybody, I'm Pia from Stitches and Scraps. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet a ginkgo leaf. This video goes along with a full written pattern and a chart. You can get the pattern and chart at the link in the description on this video if you're watching it on YouTube, or in the blog post if you're watching it directly on my blog. You'll notice that I've highlighted all of the even numbered rows. That's just to show which stitches go with which row and make the chart a little bit easier to read. In the actual pattern, these stitches are in a completely different color, but I only have a black and white printer, so when I print it, it all comes out in black. So I use a highlighter to highlight the stitches that should be a different color. If you also only have a black and white printer, that's a way that you can print patterns like this and still get the markings for the different colors. I'll be using Lion Brand 24/7 cotton yarn, which Lion Brand did give me for free for a previous project. And I'm using a 4.5mm hook, but I'm a loose crocheter, so in the pattern I've recommended a 5mm hook for worsted weight yarn. You can use any weight of yarn that you like, just use a hook that gives you a nice solid fabric in that yarn. We're going to start with the foundation chain right here that goes all the way up along the edge. This is 17 chains right here, plus we need another 2 to start our first row. So we need to make a total of 19 chains. Okay, there are 19 chains. Now let's get started with row 1. Row 1 is just one stitch. We're going to skip these 2 chains that give us kind of that little bump at the end, and then we're going to put a single crochet in the next chain. So that's the third chain. 1, 2, 3, third chain right here. I like to work in the back bump to leave a nice pretty edge on the outside, but you can work into the chain however you prefer. So I'm just going to put a single crochet into this chain, and then I slip stitch into the next chain. Okay, that was row 1, right there. So let's take a look at row 2. For row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to put a single crochet in the slip stitch we just made and a single crochet into our first stitch. So I chain 1 and I turn, and there's my slip stitch that I just made, so I put a single crochet into that. And then there is my first single crochet, so I put a single crochet into that. Row 3, we're going to start with 2 chains again and then turn, and then put a single crochet into each of these 2 stitches, 1 into the next chain on the foundation chain, and then a slip stitch into the next chain. So chain 2, turn, single crochet in these 2 stitches, single crochet in the next chain on the foundation chain, and then slip stitch in the next chain on the foundation chain. And that is row 3. I'm turning this slightly so it fits better in the camera. Row 4, we're going to do the same thing we did for row 2, which is basically chain 1, turn, single crochet in the slip stitch, and then single crochet in all the rest of the stitches. So chain 1, turn, single crochet in the slip stitch, which can be a little tight, but you can do it. Single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm sure by now you can guess what we're doing for row 5. We're going to do 2 chains, then we're going to single crochet in all 4 of the stitches we just made, single crochet in the next chain on the foundation, and slip stitch in the next chain on the foundation. So chain 2, turn, there's 4 stitches here, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we single crochet in the next chain on the foundation, and then we slip stitch in the next chain on the foundation. And that brings us to row 6, where we're just doing a single crochet in all the stitches back, including that slip stitch. So chain 1, turn, and then single crochet in the slip stitch and in each of the single crochets all the way back. So that brings us to round 7, and one more time we're going to chain 2, single crochet in all the stitches across, single crochet in the next chain, and slip stitch in the next chain. And that's going to bring us to the center. So chain 2, single crochet in each of these stitches across, single crochet in the next chain, and slip stitch in the next chain. Okay, now we are down here to the center. Row 8 is almost the same as all the other even rows, except for right here, and this is what's going to give us that separation in the middle of the leaf. So for row 8, we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to single crochet in the slip stitch and in each of the stitches across up to the last 2 stitches. And then instead of working in the last 2 stitches, we're going to work 2 single crochet into the second to last stitch and leave the last stitch unworked. And that's going to just give us that little divide that you get between the leaves, or between the lobes, I mean. So chain 1 and turn. Okay, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochet before we do the 2 single crochet in 1 stitch. So that is 1 in the slip stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we have 2 left. So instead of working in both of them, we're going to put 2 stitches in this one. And there's our little divide between the lobes at the top of our leaf. Okay? And now we're going to start practically the same thing we did at the beginning, but working this time into the stitches of that center row that we just made. So row 9 is just like row 1 was, but this time instead of slip stitching into a chain, we're slip stitching into the next stitch. So chain 2, turn, single crochet in the first stitch, and slip stitch into the next stitch. Row 10 is just like row 2, so chain 1, turn, 2 single crochet. So chain 1, turn, single crochet in the slip stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, row 3, chain 2 and turn, and then 3 single crochet and a slip stitch. So chain 2, turn, single crochet in these 2 stitches, single crochet in the next stitch on that center row, okay, and slip stitch in the next stitch. Row 12, we chain 1 and turn, and single crochet in all the stitches up. So chain 1, turn, single crochet in the slip stitch, and in each of the other stitches here. Okay, back here we are on 13, so we chain 2, turn, and now there's 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet in these stitches, 5 goes into that stitch, and then the slip stitch. So chain 2, turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th one goes into the next stitch. Now be careful, I almost went into this stitch, but that one we've already worked into. I'm going into the next one. Okay, oh, that was a little bit loose. Let's try that one again. Go into the next one, and then slip stitch in the next one. Okay, that was 13 right there. Actually, I'll turn it this way now. Okay, so that was 13 right there. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn, and single crochet in all the stitches across. That should give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. So chain 1, turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now we're on row 15, and this is actually, it can be a little misleading because it's kind of bunched up in here. But if we look at where these stitches are going, right, the last stitch we worked into with that slip stitch on that center column was this stitch. So we have 2 left, okay? On row 15, we're going to work 2 chains, single crochet in each of these stitches across, and put the next single crochet into that stitch there. Okay, it's in line with that stitch, but it almost looks like it's in this one. We're not skipping a stitch. This goes in that stitch, and the slip stitch goes into this one. We're going to chain 2. Okay, we've got 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochet into single crochet from the previous row. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we've got our 2 stitches left from row 8. We're going to single crochet into one of them and slip stitch into the last one. So now we've reached the stem, and all that's left to do is slip stitch in the remaining chains. There should be 9 of them, but it's not really super important. If you want a longer stem, you can start with more chains, and if you want a shorter stem, you can actually rip out some of the chains at the end. You could even start with an extra long chain and just slip stitch till you get to where you like it, and then rip out whatever's left. Totally up to you. This is just the stem. So we're going to slip stitch in each of these chains. The first one is not here. That is this one that we've already worked a slip stitch into before. So the first one's right here. I'm going to go ahead in the back bumps, and I like for this first one to make it a little extra tight because it helps pull everything around. If you look right now, this chain is very much centered on this lobe of the leaf, and I want it more in the center across the whole leaf. So I'm going to do quite a tight slip stitch in just this first chain, like that. And see how that pulls it right into the center of the leaf now? So it centers everything up nicely. Now I'm just going to slip stitch in the rest of them, and there should be 8. And I'm still going in the back bumps just because I like the way that looks. And these ones are not extra tight, okay? These ones are just normal slip stitches. Only that one was extra tight. Okay, that is my last one. And all that's left to do is cut the tail, fasten off, and weave in our ends. And then of course, wash and block. So with this pattern, blocking is super important because as you can see, it's kind of twisty, right? And we want it to lay flat. Once you wash it, and I recommend pinning it out with a pin in each of these little loops to kind of open up those little loops at the end, those chain 2 loops here, right here. I recommend putting a pin in each of those as you block them, and then of course just lay it flat. I like this as the right side, but you could even consider this the right side. It doesn't really matter in this pattern because we've been going back and forth. Another thing I like to do is straighten out this starting chain just a little bit. So I'll pin this kind of straight and so it doesn't curve quite so much up at the tip. But once you lay it flat and block it, it will look like this. And that's what you're looking for. Another little trick is you can actually make this stem curl a little bit by pulling your yarn a little bit extra tightly when you weave in your end. So I'm going to show you that real quick. So I'm weaving this end straight up and down through the center of my chains here. Just straight up and down between the top and the bottom of the chains. I'm going all the way to the base of my leaf. Now, if I pull this, let's get that tail out of the way. If I pull this a little bit tightly, right now it's absolutely open, like no pressure on it at all. If I pull it a little bit tightly, you'll see how that starts to bend the tail, the stem a little bit. So if you want a bent stem, pull it a little bit tightly. When you get the look that you like, go ahead and sew the end in again doing a little back stitch, and that should hold it in place. If you pull it too much and you want to undo it, just grab the bottom of the stem and undo it, and it should come flat again. But I like it with just a little bit of a curve to it. And see how I held it there so that it curves only the part below there? So you can really shape it however you want. I like a little bit of a curve to it, but I want the curve more even. So let's hold it here. Just mush that curve up. Okay, there we go. I like that. And I'm going to take a little back stitch here, and that should lock it in place. And then finish weaving in my end and trim it. And then I've got the one extra end to weave in, and I've got to wash it and block it, and then I should end up with something that looks like this. And that's how you crochet a ginkgo leaf. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, or leave me a comment. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel for more great videos. Thanks for watching.